Coming up, we'll have our show recorded this past weekend at the Delaware Dismeet to raise money for Give Kids the World. We're also going to talk about the new lounge at the Hollywood Brown Derby. All that coming up next. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode number 658 for the week of November 5th, 2013. The Diz Unplugged is sponsored by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Diz Unplugged, coming to you live from the Bob Varley Studios in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends Sean Thompson, Craig Williams, and back in the production nook, our producer, Dustin West.
Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Ooh, a wave.
Yeah, it's a small group. Today we did record our full show, this past weekend in Delaware at what was a very fun meet, a very good meet. I believe they raised about $8,000 for Give Kids the World.
It was like a family reunion for me.
Yeah, really. Exactly. We got to meet Sean and Craig's parents.
Yeah.
And Dustin's parents were in town just last week, so yeah, it's been a lot of families. And
it was.
So it was a lot of fun. It was great meeting everybody. But James and Denise Kays and their group of volunteers did an amazing job in planning and organizing that meet. That was a very well organized.
It really was. Yeah, all the auctions were great, and I joked about it on the other show, but I think the venue was perfect.
Yeah,
it was. It was a senior center.
It was perfect for it,
and
basically
it was
brand new.
It was an excellent venue. So, great job, you guys. But we are going to talk about a few things before we go ahead and play the show from Delaware. One of the things I believe we have to do a plug for our Disneyland show. Did he send through his?
He did.
He does have. While you're looking at that, also Nikki Bell, Nicole Mancini sent me something. She has. We've been talking a lot about the magic bands and how people are getting upset about all that kind of stuff, and she's going to have a blog about it going up tomorrow on the 6th of November. So definitely want to check out that blog. She also just put up a blog about Dave Avanzino.
Great blog about Dave Avanzino, who's going to be who has really turned into my favorite Disney artist. We've talked about him a few times. These two pieces over my shoulder, sitting behind me in the studio, are Dave Avanzino pieces. I have about 5 or 6 other ones. Some of them here in the studio, some in my office. And he's going to be at the Festival of the Masters this weekend. And Nikki wrote up a great blog on some of the stuff he's working on. That Tiki Room box that he's got is just crazy.
He's got a box and he's got a print as well. So, but the box, I believe that's one of his originals. He's got quite a few. And if you look at that blog, several of them are one-of-a-kind originals.
Yeah, they're his originals. They're not the ones that have been produced.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm excited. That new Fantasyland piece that you bought, right whenever it came out, they actually have a print of that as well. So
I like that he's doing that because, I mean, the boxes are usually a little out of my price range, but to see that he's doing prints of them.
Oh, they're way out of my
really
price
good.
range.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
I was being modest yet.
But, so that's a great blog Nikki put up yesterday.
Yeah, and I have the details for the Disneyland show that's coming up later this week. The team has their next part of the Disneyland 101 series focusing on downtown Disney, and Mary Jo is going to talk about the Rose Parade and how to make it part of your Disneyland holiday vacation. So that's what's coming up this Thursday, and you can go to DizUnplugged.com if you want to check that out.
Very good. Is there anything else we need to mention before we...
Lori Wagner in chat says that George Takei is in Magic Kingdom right now.
Oh,
I saw that.
That's kind of exciting to me. I think I might go after the show.
Sulu. No?
That's all the housekeeping I have is George Takei. Yeah.
I don't know anything. People don't talk to me.
Yeah, this is... Yeah. We decided to unchain Craig from the production nook and let him come sit at the table.
It's backfiring already.
Yeah, really. I'm already regretting it.
It's great to breathe.
But no, we did have a wonderful time in Delaware. It was great.
We did.
It's a great meet. Great job done by those guys. And I was really excited that when we went up from Orlando to we flew into Philadelphia. When we went up to Philly, the flight attendants went out of their way to make an announcement that even though the FAA had changed the rules, that they still weren't being implemented yet. So you weren't allowed to use your phone or your iPad during taxi and landing. But when we got on the plane in Philly coming back, Delta's proud to be the first airline to, and I was able to use my phone and my iPad.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Not make calls or anything. You have to have it in airplane mode.
Yeah.
But I could listen to music, and which I used to love to do when I would fly, and then they stopped it for a while, and I can listen to music.
Yeah, we used to have to do that. Run the earphone up your.
Oh no! I never messed with that. Whatever the rules were, I did.
Yeah, neither did I.
Yeah.
I'm just really glad now you don't have to have that awkward small talk with the person next to you that you don't really want to talk to because you're on an airplane and you just want to be quiet and listen to your own music.
You're talking about Craig?
Teresa. On that, because on the first flight from Philadelphia to Cincinnati, we were not in the lucky people who got to have their electronics on because our plane was the size of a tuna can or what they are, sardines.
It was a plane for ants, actually.
It was tiny. But then on our second Cincinnati back to Orlando, it was so nice getting our electronics.
And I actually was sitting next to Craig, and I didn't want to talk, so I just put headphones in.
Interaction.
No, that was cool. I'm glad to see they finally are changing that rule, and you still can't use your laptops below 10,000 feet. But small portable electronics.
I think that kind of has to do with the size, right? They don't want you to have huge kind of things with
exactly.
the table.
So your Game Boy, your whatever.
Walkman.
Game Boy. Did I just really date myself there?
What was the thing from Home Alone? The Talk
Boy.
Talk Boy. Yeah.
And Talk Boy 2. You can have your Discman.
I had one of those.
You can have your cassette player.
I think I do too.
That's all right. I was in Publix yesterday.
Anti-skip.
And the girls in there know me, and they know that I travel a lot. But so the girl bagging knew that I travel, and she always she says she lives vicariously through me, and always asks where have you been? What was your most recent trip? Where are you going next? But the cashier I didn't know, and the cashier says, "Well, when you're retired, you get to do those things." And I looked at her and I said, "Excuse me?" And she's like, "Oh, well, when you retire, you get to travel." I said, "Woman, I am nowhere near old enough to retire." And then she goes, "Well, some people, they retire in their late 50s. I said, "Okay, you really need to shut up. Okay? You really need to shut up now. You're just digging your hole deeper and deeper. I am 48 years old. I mean, I realize there's some snow on the roof, but, come on. I don't look like I'm 65.
No.
But I don't know why I had to share that.
I don't know.
It's like a very special episode of Designing Women.
So, all right. I do want to talk about the new lounge at the Hollywood Brown Derby, which you guys went and covered.
Yep.
And this apparently is quite a big deal. People are very excited about this.
It is, including me. I'm so excited about it. We went on the first night.
Yeah. The way I kind of see it is it's like a first step in making a more Carthay Lounge type addition to Hollywood Studios and maybe make Hollywood Studios a little better than it is right now because it's kind of dying, as everyone knows. But
let's describe to people what this is, this new lounge. So
it's on one of the patios on the Hollywood Brown Derby restaurant. It's kind of perpendicular to Starring Rolls. It's kind of around the corner of that. And it kind of the majority of the lounge is outside on the patio itself, but there is kind of a small section on the inside of the restaurant. That's kind of like awkwardly divided with ficus trees on the inside. I like the outside a lot better. It kind of had more of like a casual outdoor, nice feeling.
Yeah,
rather than inside, it was kind of dark.
The inside would have been more like a place where you want to sit and wait right before you go and sit down for dinner. Whereas outside, it was just a nice place you could sit and relax. The only problem with the outside seating is how loud everything is, because you're basically right in the heart of Hollywood Studios there. So, like, we were there right around the time that the American Idol finale show was happening at the end of the night.
And we heard every performance.
And they were a lot of bad people singing that night. They were awful for the most part.
Yeah, so you can see the sorcerer's hat from the patio. I almost wonder if they're going to maybe install some kind of like more private fence along that patio, because it seems like and this is their first like week or whatever.
Right.
But it would be nice if there was some kind of taller barrier so you didn't hear the noise, or it's not so like awkward when people walk by that are kind of looking at you.
And you know, this has been a seating area for a long time at the Brown Derby, but every time I walk by, I never really see them using that as a real section.
Well, I've eaten out there a couple times, but I think both times were for lunch. But no, I have eaten out there. So now, what sorts of what are they offering? What sorts of food?
Yeah, so it's a limited menu for food, but there is a pretty big drink menu. They have kind of like specialty cocktails, stuff that you can get inside at the restaurant. And I think there are some new things, including the flights, which are kind of like their big signature thing now, which you can order inside now. They've added it to both menus, but they were kind of introduced for the lounge itself. They have two, so they have the martini one and the margarita.
And then they also have a couple wine flights.
And Powerade.
We didn't have the wine flights. I had the flight. It was excellent. Keep going. There you go.
Okay. This is going to be great for audio.
You're supposed to keep talking, Craig.
I just lost my train of thought.
Unlike Teresa, when he's distracted, he just like deer in the headlights. Whereas, Teresa gets distracted, she keeps talking.
She just gets quieter and whispers. So the martini one was called Martini Flight of the Stars. It says a tasting of 3 martinis for $11.25, which I thought is a good price. Both the margarita flight and the martini ones were $11.25.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good sized drinks.
Oh, well, I would have been fine just having the one flight, but we did want to try other drinks because we were there to cover everything, so we need to be very thorough with it.
Oh, yes.
That's what we say.
It was research.
It was research. But... And then
that's one path. I guess that's one path to alcoholism, but okay.
Okay. Yeah, so I had the margarita one. It was called Citizens Take Flight. So the 3 were the Bucky Greenhorn Derby Margarita, the Melvin Machismo Mango, and the Ready Freddy Fiddlesticks Pomegranate Margarita. Ooh. So they're all kind of cutesy names after like old Hollywood kind of things.
Okay.
So it fits into the theming of the restaurant.
Yeah, like one of my martinis was the Norma Desmond.
No, it was the Dorma Nesmond.
Dorma Nesmond.
Because you're drunk and
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I couldn't drink it. I wanted to taste it just for the name alone, but it was way too sweet.
Yeah.
Really?
It was a cherry martini, kind of.
Okay.
It was more cherry than vodka, but it was still, there was gin in that one, but no, it was all of my martinis were excellent, and the food was just as good there.
What kind of food?
Well, we tried several things, including. Wow. We had these sliders. They came with 2 sliders on, which were almost the size of actual hamburgers.
Yeah, they were big.
One of them was a chorizo slider, which chorizo is what did we decide?
I believe a spicy Portuguese sausage.
Yes, you're correct.
Yes.
It's kind of sausage.
And then the other one was just a beef slider with Gouda.
It was Wagyu beef.
Wagyu beef. Yeah. But
with Gouda.
It was really good. And bacon and avocado.
Damn, look at those. Jeez.
Cognac, mustard, aioli. It was very good. Yeah. They're kind of upper scale. They're kind of like more gourmet. So it's not like sliders that you would get anywhere.
Those look fantastic.
They really do.
And they came with the tiniest little potato chips that were so good.
So greasy,
like
but so good.
Really fried. Yeah.
But the chorizo was my favorite of the 2. It was almost like a spicy sloppy Joe sandwich.
We called it the really fancy manwich.
Yeah.
My manwich.
Yeah, but those were fantastic. Both of those were really good, and they were $15.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're higher priced, but I say they're totally worth it for these 2 because they're really high quality.
Those were definitely worth it, and I was starting to get full just after those 2. Okay. So, and then the other thing that I tried was the duck confit tacos. The one thing I loved about them was normally whenever you eat duck, you're eating it off the bone or off a breast, stuff like that. So they just put all the good juicy duck meat right in the tacos, had a little bit of orange with it. It was my favorite thing that we tried.
Yeah, this was the best.
Yeah.
I would put this on the top, then probably the chorizo burger, and then probably the Wagyu one underneath that. So it was $14. It had sweet onion and orange conserve, taleggio cheese, and leek rings.
Yeah, and they kind of look small.
And nobody knows what any of those things are.
I don't know any of those words.
They look so small in the picture, but the picture really doesn't do it justice there. These were good-sized tacos, 3 of them. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't fill you up as much as the 2 sliders, but it was still a really good bargain for its price. And then the last thing we had was the shrimp.
Yeah, it was called the Derby Cocktail. It was kind of like a seafood thing. There was jumbo lump blue crab, black tiger shrimp, avocado, and horseradish tomato juice. So it came in two parts. So the salad kind of came on the plate. And then you got like this little shot glass with tomato whatever juice in it. I didn't know the correct protocol for that. I kind of dipped and like poured a little bit of it on.
Yeah.
But it was good. However, this was $14, and I don't think it was worth that much.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the presentation was beautiful. The avocado was really fresh, delicious, but not worth the money.
You got 3 shrimp with it, and then like maybe 4 little kind of bits of crab.
Yeah.
So.
And then they also had a few other. They had 2 different artisanal cheese plates.
Oh, wow.
Like every Disney.
This sounds great.
Contest. Oh, it really is.
I think it's the perfect addition to Hollywood Studios. I think it really tries to add a more Carthay Circle type area to the park, with the lounge and the specialty drinks and the different food offerings.
Is this going to be a place that is going to be impossible to get into because it's going to be popular? And
it is possible. There's no reservations accepted.
It's first come, first serve.
First come, first serve. They do take tables in Wonderland, but there's no dining plan accepted.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
It's possible. I would love to see it because I want them to improve on it.
Interesting to see them exclude this from the dining plan.
I think it would be hard, though, because those items, they're priced in a way that it's not quite an entree, but it's not a quick service either,
I wonder if Disney is going to start playing around with concepts where they want to see if they can get away with certain restaurants that won't accept the dining plan.
Yeah.
Maybe. The only way to do this would be, I guess it could be a quick service because they do offer desserts too. We tried all 3 desserts,
which were all from the restaurant, so there was nothing really new. But
the desserts were on the higher end. They were about $8 or $9 each, and then all the entrees or the appetizers, I guess, they were between $14, and then the one cheese plate for 2 was like $19.
Yeah, and it had charcuterie on it too, so it had like meat stuff on it.
So all this stuff was relatively expensive. They can't really justify the quick service plan, but then you're not really going to get your money's worth out of it on the table plan. So,
but I think it works well a la carte. I mean, I think that if you just went, I think it's a great spot for to go spend an evening and just have different drinks and kind of spend. There was no issues with us taking a while. We sat there for probably 2 hours.
I would say about 2.5 hours, and the park was actually closed for about 45 minutes before we even left.
So it's outdoor, and so the outdoor seating has umbrellas over the tables, and they have.
So they didn't rush you out of there.
Oh, no.
After the park closed.
No.
Well, we had a little issues with not getting served our dessert until like 5 minutes before.
This was their first night, and you could tell it was a little rocky with the servers. We did ask if they were specific servers just to the lounge or if they were on kind of a rotation from the restaurant. It turns out that's the way it works. So it's added to the servers' rotation. So, most of the time they'll work at the restaurant maybe, but then a couple days a week they'll come out and work in the lounge. So they're still kind of working out things like that.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. I think so far everything I've heard coming back is people are really excited about it. It sounds like the food and drinks are good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're great.
It's the perfect place to just relax at the end of the day. If you're going to the park all day, maybe end your night off there, just have a couple drinks.
Oh, and I do want to mention that there's a small bar set up in the front, which is where they're making most of the drinks. Mm-hmm. And if there's no seating room, if you don't want to sit maybe, you can order drinks to go. And they'll make it for you to go. So you can order these like really nice drinks. I don't think they do it for the flight. I think that would be harder.
Yeah.
But for the specialty cocktails, they'll make it for you and you can take them to go, walk around the park.
So you give it high marks.
Oh, definitely. I want to go back and see, maybe in a month and see how it's
check it out. Those burgers look good. So.
Oh yeah.
But all right, before we turn it over to the video we have of the show that we recorded, which is where the news and the housekeeping and all that other good stuff that you're used to is. I do want to make a special mention here. A few weeks ago, I gave a shout-out to one of our listeners and good friends, Tony Malia from New Zealand, who had been on the Backstage Magic ABD trip with us, with Sean, Craig, Dustin, and I back in June. We gave her a shout out because she was in the hospital. She was sick, and unfortunately, we found out over the weekend that Tony passed away. So we wanted to just, in the event that her sister is watching, just wanted to send out our condolences to you and to your family, and to tell you how sorry we are, genuinely, that Tony isn't with us anymore. I, wish I'd had more time to get to know her. We had that week. But there were things that were clear in that week. That was nothing held her back. It seemed like being bound to the wheelchair was just not an impediment for her. She did everything we did, went everywhere we went.
Oh, yeah. And I remember on multiple occasions we offered to help her. There were stairs, even just like pick her up in the wheelchair, and she was fearless. She just.
And she was also treated like royalty by those Adventure by Disney guides. That was amazing to see.
And this was the trip of a lifetime for her. And one of the things that really moved me was when I heard that she, in the hospital room, she watched the show every week religiously. She was a huge fan. And she was surrounded by pictures and memories from that Backstage Magic trip. And that was the trip of a lifetime for her. And, one of the things her sister mentioned to us was that because her sister was with her on that trip, and that she's very grateful that she had that experience with her. So we just want to offer our condolences and dedicate today's show to Tony's memory. And we will go ahead and close it out. And coming up next, our show from Delaware. Thanks, everybody. Coming up, Disney Cruise Line is putting lifeguards at its pools. The head of Disney's labor relations is jumping ship for Universal, and FastPass Plus is coming to the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin. All that coming up next. We're coming to you from the Delaware Diz Meet to raise money for Give Kids the World, and this is the Diz Unplugged. To the Diz Unplugged Roundtable discussion for the week of November 5th, 2013, coming to you from the Delaware Diz Meet to raise money for Give Kids the World. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, Miss Kathy Whirling, the lovely and talented Teresa Eccles, the lovely and talented Sean Thompson, and the lovely and talented Dustin West. All right. And, of course, on the controls producing for us, the lovely and talented Craig Williams. It is great to be here. It's great to be back up in the Northeast during fall. I miss this. I miss the weather. I miss the changing of the leaves. It's fantastic. So it's great to be here. The weather is just amazing.
Absolutely.
I brought, my big winter coat. And... This is fantastic.
I don't know that we'll need that. When we were flying in, you could see it. It's just changing slightly to red and yellow.
It looks beautiful.
Reminds me of my childhood back north. It's wonderful.
Well, you spent a lot of time living outside.
Yes, like a squirrel.
A few things in housekeeping I want to go over. Remind everybody, November 30th, 2014, Podcast Cruise 5.0. This is a party you are not going to want to miss. There are still really great rates available for this cruise. It's on the Magic, the newly refurbed Magic. If you watched the show last week, you saw some of the amazing things they did to that ship. Of course, we have those videos that Craig did on the ship. 14 of them, I believe, that Craig produced on the Magic. Amazing. Most of them he got up before the ship ever left port, which blows my mind. But so if you want to join us for that, November 30th also happens to be my 50th birthday, December 6th of next year. And if you like big parties, if you like good parties, this is one you're going to want to attend because I'm planning it.
No presents, right?
Oh, no, tribute must be paid. Of course not. But so that's November 30th next year, Podcast Cruise 5.0. And forgive me, I'm starting to lose my voice. I had my niece and nephew visiting us for a couple of weeks, and they brought their disease and pestilence into my house. And now I'm starting to get sick, so they'll be punished in short order. Also want to remind everybody, our Disneyland show, every Thursday, DizUnplugged.com. I have no idea what he's doing this week because he hasn't sent me a...
Yeah, he usually sends us what he's going to be doing.
He usually sends us the update, letting me know what he's going to be doing. Links to that and everything we discuss in the show, as always, DizUnplugged.com. Also want to take a moment to recognize James and Denise Kays and their volunteers for putting on this awesome meet. I also want, and I hope she doesn't get mad at me for saying this, but I want to say something especially to Denise. These items you see up for auction here are all from her personal collection. That we haven't seen before. Normally, it's a lot of people contributing stuff, and when I walked in, I'm like, wow, a lot of people contributed. Only to find out that Denise brought all her stuff here. What a great, generous thing to do. I'm really, really moved by that, Denise. I also want to thank our phenomenal auctioneer. Did a fantastic job. Also, I want to make sure, I know we have some active members of the military in the audience today, so I want to thank them for their service. Them going out and doing what they do allows idiots like me to sit here on a microphone and spew my nonsense. So we want to thank you for that. And I also want to recognize the young men and women sitting over here, Junior ROTC. You talk about some of the things you see. I'm going to sound like an old man here, but kids these days, especially in this day and age, war is absolutely a part of our vocabulary, unfortunately. So when I see young men and women wearing the uniform, thank you for your service. Because I don't have the spine to do it. So I thank God there are men and women like you out there. But it really is nice to see everybody. Seeing a lot of familiar faces. I want to appreciate those of you who came in from New Jersey and New England and surrounding areas, Pennsylvania. A lot of people drove several hours to be down here. And just want to tell you we appreciate it. I think we've raised some good money today. And I think we're still doing silent auctions. So that's running through the entire show. And I think we're still selling the raffle tickets. So, like I said to you, best odds you'll ever get on winning a Disney vacation. $10. Got to be in it to win it. And we're going to announce that winner at the end of the show. But that's what I have for housekeeping. Does anybody else have anything?
I have a little one.
Oh, I'm not touching that.
A little, look. This was given to me yesterday by Linda Andrews.
What is it?
It's a little sniffle duffel. There's tissues on one side.
What did you call that?
It's a sniffle duffel. And chocolate inside. It's like perfect for me.
Did she sew this together?
Yes, she sewed it with a little needle and thread.
She can dab her eyes and soothe her emotions all at the same time.
That's right. It's like the perfect, oh my God, I'm going to cry. It's just so sweet.
Of course she's going to cry.
So, and I have pictures of Klaus for those who want to see him, so I'm good.
We'll be passing them around.
We'll be passing them around, yeah.
Anything else? Anyone else? Anything?
Not for me.
I just want to say this is a cool senior center.
This is the most beautiful senior center I've ever seen.
It's the nicest one I've ever been in. I think that's probably one. But
yeah, he said he was looking. He said he was looking forward to retiring in Delaware.
I thought it was going to be Shady Pines, but it's much nicer.
So, that it?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, we're going to move on to the news. First news story. After an incident in March where a 4-year-old boy nearly drowned on the Disney Fantasy, Disney Cruise Line has added lifeguards to their pools. Anybody else wonder why the hell this wasn't done earlier?
Yeah.
Lifeguards will be stationed at the family pools on all 4 ships whenever the pool is open. Who did not turn off their phone?
Not mine.
No,
Not me. All right.
Mine's off.
Disney is the first major cruise line. This is something else that stunned me. Disney is the first major cruise line to do this, as most ships do not have lifeguards watching over their pools. Disney Cruise Line is not the only Disney entity to make changes to their pool safety. Walt Disney World Resorts are now enforcing pool hours and adding fences around all resort pools that currently don't have them, so guests will only have access when there are lifeguards on duty. Earlier this year, a young boy drowned while swimming at Pop Century after the lifeguards had left for the night. I knew this was coming because I also believe recently on a Carnival ship, a young boy
Had
drowned.
to be taken to the...
I think he died.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
And I don't understand how you have kids swimming and you don't have a lifeguard. I'm not saying this is just Disney. Apparently, it's every cruise line. But it's sad to me that somebody has to die or nearly die. I mean, this 4-year-old boy, I mean, he's in a vegetative state. He's not coming back from this. He's alive, but just barely.
That boy that was on the Disney ship, I'm on his Facebook page. His name is Chase Lycan. And you can see he's made great strides, but chances are, I mean, they've told him he'll never get back to what he was.
Yeah.
And how sad is that?
And it stuns me. How do you miss that? How do you get the detail down for the light fixture? Disney does so well. But how do you miss that detail? You've got kids swimming in a pool and there's no lifeguard. Let's not even discuss the fact that the Mickey pool on the Magic and the Wonder by 4 o'clock in the afternoon looks like an unflushed toilet. Tell me I'm wrong. At 8 o'clock in the morning, you can see Mickey clearly. By 4 o'clock, he's kind of hazy. I'm not going to make any friends at Disney Cruise Line saying that. Yeah, I'm glad that they're doing it. I'm just sorry that it had to take.
Well, I know they had cast members stationed when the Dream and Fantasy came out for the Aqueduct. They had cast members stationed at the top and the bottom of the slide. But
right,
I mean, there's still additional pools that are there, especially the children's pools that I think will now obviously benefit from having a lifeguard there. And I'm sure they'll have certain hours. I doubt it'll be 24/7, but
well, you hope.
You know.
No, it's not going to be 24/7. They'll have to enforce the hours.
Even at the resorts. How many of you have gone by the pool and they put like this net over the end of the slide and said, you know, there's no lifeguard here. Like, did that make it safer? It's about time they put fences around the pools and said, hey, these are our hours. You know, yeah. I mean, accidents can happen at Disney as well as they can happen anywhere else.
No, absolutely. So I'm glad they're doing it. Just sorry it had to take that to make it happen.
Well, I think we saw them last weekend when we were on the Magic. There were lifeguards at all the pools, so they've started already.
Oh, the thing was also lousy with media.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
All right, our next story, Steve Eisenhart, Senior Vice President of Labor Relations, Immigration Compliance, and Cast Health Services for Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, has resigned for a job leading labor relations at NBC Universal. Eisenhart will move from Florida to New York and begin his new job November 18th. He has been employed by Disney since 1995, starting off as a labor relations manager and moving to his current role in 2009. As part of his job at Disney, Eisenhart was responsible for managing 100 people and oversaw the labor relations divisions at both U.S. Disney theme parks. For NBC Universal, he'll be responsible not just for Universal theme parks, but also their other business divisions. Prediction. You're going to hear a lot more stories like this. I think you're going to start seeing Universal poaching Disney executives on a massive basis. Whether you like Universal or not, they are now very well funded. They are now very, very well funded through Comcast. They are making a play. They are really making a play. I think Universal feels they can supplant Disney as the main draw. Now, to a bunch of Disney fans, we're going to sit here and shake our heads no.
No.
But you don't ever write off anybody that's willing to spend $500 million a year expanding their business. Disney is not spending that. Disney is not spending that. And Universal has seen strides from this. So what they're going to start doing now is poaching. And it used to be poaching from Disney. Used to be it was the other way around. Disney poached from Universal. As a matter of fact, the senior vice president of Walt Disney Travel, Randy Garfield, came from Universal. A lot of people working in Walt Disney Travel came from Universal. So I think it's interesting that Universal is starting to poach people back from Disney. Has anybody been to Universal recently?
Yes.
Anybody?
Wow.
Not a hand.
Wow.
Go check it out. Spent some time there the last few weeks. And I got to tell you something. For all the years that I've been a fan of Universal, I love Universal. Always loved Disney a little bit more. Always thought Disney did certain things a lot better. I thought their theme parks were better. Their cast was better. In terms of cast, I got to be honest with you. Universal's doing something. They're doing what Disney used to do. And that's the kind of cast member I'm encountering over at Universal. I'm getting an awful lot of apathy at Disney. I'm seeing people that just are there doing a job. They have no passion for what they're doing. They're not happy. I'm not saying this is true of all of them. I'm not going to paint all cast members with one brush. A lot of the ones I see don't seem that happy. Everybody I ran into at Universal,
Feel like excited
last couple
to be there.
weeks, these people were pumped. There's something in the air over there, and I think that I think Disney has a much bigger challenge on its hands than maybe they realize. And with the expansion of Harry Potter coming up, I think this could get real interesting. At the end of the day, we're the ones who win. When these guys fight it out, we're the ones who win. But I'm interested to see. But I just thought that was fascinating that they were poaching, because that's a high-level job there. That's a high-level job.
And
They're
it's
not
also
poaching.
a job that affects the incoming cast members and the way the cast members relate to one another and to their overseeing company. So I think having that kind of person that has set that up at Disney, that culture of being able to go and talk to your managers, talk to your HR department, all that, having some of that come into Universal, I think is going to be good for Universal, because Disney does do that right, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's one of the things, probably one of the areas where Universal probably has to beef things up is in labor relations. And look, now I'm a pro-union guy. I don't want to upset anybody here thinking I'm not pro-union. But from the standpoint of business, you've got to have somebody strong enough to fight the unions and keep costs under control. And some of his tactics in doing that were not things that I approved of or appreciated. But that's his job. So, like I said, poaching somebody like that at that level, it's different than if we get, a manager from the parks or something like that. You're talking upper executive. This guy's going to be labor relations for basically NBC Universal, the entire organization, not just the parks. That's a big poach. Yeah. So interested to see. I'll just make a prediction now. You're going to start hearing more stories like that. Upper-level executives being poached by Universal, by Comcast, from Disney.
But on the other side of things, George Kalogridis at Disney World, out in Disneyland, we heard all kind of really wonderful things. We haven't heard so much at Disney World. Do you think they let him go in and sort of like get the feel for Disney World, and maybe we're going to start seeing some things at Disney that he's going to put his stamp on?
I think... Absolutely. I think he's just, that's a big job. You're in charge of the Walt Disney World Resort, largest single-site employer in the U.S. Yeah. You got, 55, 60,000 people
60-some.
Reporting to him. So, we'll give him some time. So far, he's not the cleaning woman. That's obvious. But what he's going to add to it, what the tone of things is going to be under his leadership, it remains to be seen. But, he was pretty well loved at Disneyland. So
they just gave him the big, handoff of the magic bands. Now he's in control of that, the team that's been handling it. So it's like maybe now he's going to put his flair to it, or I would like to see some of that coming from
anybody
him.
who's visited Disneyland knows that they're very different products, Disneyland and Disney World. Very, very different. So I'm wondering how much of a learning curve that's going to be for him, because things are just done so much differently in Orlando than Anaheim.
He was in Disney World first, right? And then went out to Disneyland. Right? Wasn't he in charge at the Contemporary? Didn't he come up through the ranks at Disney World?
I always thought he was West Coast.
No, I thought he started here, or started in Florida. But
here.
Yeah.
Started here, in Delaware.
You know what I mean? I think I'm back in Florida, I'm sorry. But I'm thinking he's now had a learning period at Disney World. Maybe now he'll start doing some things.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I've got big hopes.
Nice.
I've got big hopes for him. I think he'll do well. But like I said, it remains to be seen. So.
Yeah.
All right, our final news story, and this is big. I was really surprised by this. A test of the FastPass Plus system will take place November 4th through January 12th for guests staying at the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin hotels. This is the first time a test has been conducted with guests staying at a resort that is not owned by Disney. The difference between these guests and other guests in the test program is that they will not have access to magic bands and will not be able to make their FastPass Plus reservations in advance. When these guests get to the theme park each day, they will need to stop at one of the MyMagic Plus kiosks and choose their FastPass Plus selections for that day. That'll change.
So
that'll change.
They're getting the leftovers, like after everybody else?
Here's what I really think this is Disney testing out the waters on how it's going to work for one-day guests.
Right.
Oh, okay.
This is a
right.
group of people on property that they don't have magic bands. They don't have the option to do it. So they're taking them and giving them the test and just to see how it works. I mean, because they're changing things every day still.
Right, because these people don't necessarily have a My Disney Experience user profile online to link
it's not
everything
connected.
together.
Yeah, exactly.
So they have to go to a kiosk and plan that day.
Which is going to be the case for a lot of guests.
Yeah.
But as an annual pass holder, I have a ongoing My Disney Experience user profile, and I'm able to go in and schedule those fast passes.
That's only because you've had that first initial Disney Resort stay.
Really? So if I hadn't stayed at a Disney hotel, I wouldn't be able to link all that stuff?
No, you had to have an initial resort stay and ticket media to start FastPass Plus.
Oh, wow. Okay. I wasn't aware of that.
Well, it should be interesting. I think you're right. I think this is them testing it out for day guests. That's been one of the burning questions a lot of people have had. What if I'm staying off property? What if I'm not staying at a Disney resort? Am I going to be able to use this? Am I going to be able to use that?
This is going to be a busy test. It's right in the holiday season.
But as you'll hear when we're going to do the top 10 threads on Disboards for October. One of the things that we said about FastPass Plus and MyMagic Plus and all that great stuff was give it a chance, give it some time, experience it before you judge it. Well, I got to say, people are coming back from experiencing it, and they're not saying good things.
No.
The in-park experience as of right now, especially with FastPass Plus is touch and go at best right now. Sometimes it works, sometimes it
Like I said, we're
really
going to talk
doesn't.
about that in a little bit. There's a couple of threads that came up this month regarding that and some of the things that people are getting upset about. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. Right. But I really hope, Disney's been doing a great job rolling this whole thing out. And they've been really, I think they've been really, really careful in doing it right. But I think there may be some things inherently built into this system that are going to be massive problems. And we're starting to see them. And I wonder how they're going to change them. Because fixing these things, I think, is going to require inherently changing the plan that they've gone into this with.
Yeah.
And whether or not they're willing to go that far, I don't know. But then again, when you've got $1 billion initiative sitting on the table,
you can't just say, let's try that again.
Yeah, no, it's So, all right, that's going to do it for the news. Let's move on to rapid fires, and as we always do in our rapid fire segment when we're on the road, we have local rapid fires, and I'm sure Kathy has found something interesting to start.
Why, yes, I have.
And by the way, Kathy checked in on Foursquare from a strip club recently. What the heck's going on there?
Sean wants to take away my Foursquare membership.
I told her I was going to delete the app from her phone.
Yes, because I was sitting on the plane in Atlanta, and that was one of my choices of where to check in because it was 0.2 miles from the airport. So I picked the most least likely place that people would assume I would go to. So
She checked into Hotlanta.
Yeah, I went there too.
What did she get there?
And I got emails that people thought my account was hacked.
It wasn't hacked. She was at a strip club.
So anyway, I'll go just about anywhere to see airplanes. And so when Pete said that we needed to come up with a rapid fire, I wanted to try to see if there was some kind of museum that, if I was here a little bit longer, I could go to. And I found the Air Mobility Command Museum. It's in Dover, Delaware. And there's an event coming up November 9th. It's going to be the first C-5 airplane to be added to any museum. And if you're into airplanes, the C-5, it's a big plane. It's a big deal. It transfers the aircraft from the 164th Airlift Wing of the Tennessee Air National Guard. And this plane had flown out of Dover Air Force Base back in the 70s, from 73 to 77. And it made its final flight from Tennessee in August and has spent the last couple months being prepared to be in this thing. And they showed pictures on the website of them pulling all these planes out of the museum so that they could get the C-5 in. So if you're a fan of airplanes and aircraft and Air Force and all that stuff, November 9th, they tell you to bring your lawn chair. It's at 10 a.m. and have fun. If I was in the area, I'd be in the front row. So that's my rapid fire.
All right. Thank you, Kathy. Teresa.
Okay. I'm doing the Newcastle Historical Society upcoming events. The first event is actually today. I wasn't going to add it, but it was kind of cute. Where's it at? The Amstel House and Dutch House Museum is closed today in preparation for paranormal investigations this evening. Isn't that fun? Okay. And then Friday, November 29th through Sunday, December 29th, the holidays at Amstel and Dutch Houses. Amstel House will be decorated for a traditional holiday celebration in colonial times, showing off a dessert board of the period and featuring traditional 18th century customs during the period of Governor Nicholas Van Dyke's residency. At the Dutch House, experience a celebration of St. Nicholas Eve, a tribute to the legend of St. Nicholas, Dutch patron saint, including with regular admission to the museum. Also through December 29th is the exhibit Taverns, Tap Rooms, and Tippling Houses. Tippling?
What?
Final days to visit the new exhibit in the Old Library Museum, explore the history of drinking establishments, both legal and illegal, in the Newcastle since the 17th century.
Let's go there.
You should go
Is this
to that.
happening tonight?
No, this is in December.
I was going to say, because we just lost these two.
I know.
Oh, excuse me, 3.
Drink.
And it's free. So go check out the drinking of olden time.
I'll come back on December 29th.
Okay, do that.
Like
I'll
when
have a hearty mead.
Like when Teresa was in her early 20s.
Yes, I remember.
in the turn
The
of the
tap
century.
rooms and taverns. I worked them. Yeah,
You were in
right,
colonial
sure.
garb?
I was.
She's on the wing. She's churning butter.
So anyway, I love some old timey Christmas. So I'd come back for this. Kathy can check out the planes, and I'll be, churning butter.
All right, thank you, Butter Churner. Dustin.
Okay, so I'm probably going to pronounce some things wrong. I'm sorry, incorrectly. So there's a place, and let me see if I get this right. Rehoboth Beach?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Got it. And that's really close to Lewis, Delaware? Yes.
Lewis?
Awesome.
You were struggling with Lewis?
Well, it's spelled not a way that you would think.
Lewes.
Yeah, so anyway, this weekend, November 6th through 10th, is the Rehoboth Beach Independent Film Festival, which kind of strikes my fancy. I'm really into that kind of thing. It started in 1998, and it has developed into a premier mid-Atlantic cultural event. The 5-day festival showcases approximately 100 of the best American and international films, including features, documentaries, and shorts. Now, I know this is a pretty popular tourist destination anyway, that part of the state.
Yeah.
So,
It's very gay.
Well, I didn't know that
is.
when I was checking this.
Are we sure this film festival is for everybody?
Well, they have a children's cinema corner for elementary school age children as well. So this weekend, if you're looking for something to do and you're really into films or independent films and want to go check out a film festival, that's November 6th through 10th, the Rehoboth Beach Independent Film Festival. Check it out.
Awesome.
I wish I could.
Everyone's going to go to Rehoboth Beach. Rehoboth. Yeah.
I thought it was Rehoboth. Rehoboth.
Piscataway.
Piscataway.
All right, thank you, Dustin. Sean.
Yep.
All right, so everyone is going to leave today and get tickets for this because it's going to be the greatest thing that you're going to do all next year. So, Costumes of Downton Abbey at the Winterthur
Speaking
Museum.
of gay things, yeah.
Thank you. The Winterthur Museum, Garden and Library from March 1st, 2014 through January 4th of 2015, so almost a full year of Downton Abbey costumes. Winterthur hosts Costumes of Downton Abbey, an original exhibition of exquisite fashion designs from the award-winning television series. Teresa made me read this full thing, so just get ready.
Where'd you get this rapid fire?
You sent it to me last night at 2 a.m.
Is that Sky Mall?
It's from Sky Mall catalog. No, it's Gateway Wilmington. So I guess the museum's in Wilmington. The exhibition is structured so visitors can experience life in both the British household of the fictional Earl and Countess of Grantham at Downton Abbey and the contrasting world of Winterthur founder Henry Francis Dupont and his contemporaries in the first half of the 20th century. Approximately 40 historically inspired costumes from the television show are supplemented by photographs and vignettes inspired by the program in real life at Winterthur. Are you going to come back for this?
Sure.
All right.
How many people here have watched Downton Abbey?
Oh, everyone has.
Okay. All right.
You just want to dress up as Maggie Smith?
I am Maggie Smith.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Sean, that's going to do it for Rapid Fire.
Okay, I add one quick little one.
No.
Did you know that it's tax-free here in Delaware? Everywhere we go, people have reminded us of that at the car rental place, at the front desk, at the hotel. It's like, do you know, Dustin, that if it's $5, it's $5?
Well, I've taken that to the extra step, and I just assume there's no laws here. So I've been running red lights, stoplight. Who cares?
It's a lawless society.
Just do whatever you want.
Wow. High living in Delaware.
All right. Well, thank you guys for that. We're going to move on to, since it's the first show of the month, we usually do our top 10 threads on Disboards for the previous month. And number 10, coming to you live from Walt Disney World, the Disney Dining Reviews Forum. This is an ongoing thread that when people are in Disney, they're going to this thread and they're updating things, mostly dining stuff because it's on the dining board. But that is our number 10 thread. First time I've seen it come up on this. Number 9 was an interesting one. This is from our Theme Parks Community Board. What gets me most are the hypocrites on this board, posted by Postal 68. And I just want to read. I want to read what he wrote because I don't necessarily disagree with him, or her. I'm sorry. Could be a woman. Many people, including myself, are not happy with this FastPass Plus mess. I've been going to Walt Disney World almost annually for 30 years. Most of those trips have been in the slower seasons, and I've never once had to do a rope drop or plan what my schedule was for the day. We've always been able to do basically everything we wanted to do, and we worked around the crowd and used our Fast Passes when they came into effect. This current FastPass Plus system is a joke. I don't want to plan on when I'm going to eat and what I'm going to ride 4, 5, 6 months in advance. That's utterly ridiculous. Now you can't even go to the park and get a Fast Pass because they're all gone early in the day because most are taken up by these people getting them in advance. And forget about getting in a standby line now for the big attractions. And a good part of this is not only because of the crap FastPass Plus system, but from the people on this board that are scamming the system and double and triple dipping with their Fast Passes. People complain about the crowds on this board, but then they're quick to point out how they got triple the Fast Passes that they should have because they used their Magic Band, their Key to the World card, and their old room key. Ridiculous. I agree with Disney, charging people who don't show up for dining reservations. In fact, they should charge them the price of a minimum meal times the number of guests the reservation is for. If they catch you in the system with more Fast Passes than you're permitted, you should have your Fast Pass privileges revoked for the entire length of stay. When I saw the title, I'm like, okay, well, here we go. But then I read it. I'm like, you know what? He's not wrong.
No,
he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Does he explain how they were using both the Key to the World and the Magic Band?
Well, I've been hearing this that there've been ways for people to.
You just go back to the same attraction twice. So you can't choose 6 different rides. You just choose the same 3.
When you're at the park, you just use the Fast Pass machine and you stick your Key to the World card in or your old ticket in. You can't schedule it, but if it's available, you can get it.
He's a triple, so I was confused as to.
But they're going to quit issuing Key to the World cards, so that's going to cut down on it some.
Cut down on it some.
And then eventually they're supposed to phase out the Fast Pass machines. So,
just so people understand, I've gotten emails already about this and why do we allow people to share this information on the boards. We used to get it with the Photo Pass, and people would, all chip in together and get one Photo Pass, and people get upset with me because I allow it. There are certain things we don't allow on the boards, but when it comes to things like this, my feeling is if Disney wants it to change, it's incumbent on Disney to change their policies.
Right.
It's not incumbent on me to chase down everybody that's doing something that may or may not be okay. A great example is refillable mugs. People that would bring them back trip after trip. Why don't you ban these people for talking about reusing their refillable mugs?
Because there's a
Why
system.
don't you ban these people for talking about sneaking 5 people into a room? All those third rail issues that are on the board. This is now becoming a third rail issue. I don't do that because it's Disney's job to fix the problem with the refillable mugs. That's what I said. If Disney has a problem with this, Disney will fix it. And now they have. They put RFID chips in the cups. Problem solved. I'm not going to sit and go after people because they post something like that. I don't have to. The people on the boards do a good enough job of that. They hop all over somebody for posting stuff like that. But I think this guy is right, or this girl is right, that these are some of the issues with FastPass Plus that are going to get worse.
You know, before they phase out the manual machines that you actually go up, the machines that have been there, before they phase those out, they're going to have to get a lot better with how easy the website is to attach your reservation, to your ticket, to your FastPass. Because my dad, my parents were just in town last week, and my dad is a really smart guy, and he builds computers. He's real tech savvy. He knows how to get his way around a website. Couldn't for the life of him figure out how to attach FastPass Plus to his Disney experience. So we just went around and did the regular FastPasses, putting the tickets in the machine the entire time. And even though we had the option to do FastPass Plus, we didn't feel like going up to the front desk and waiting there for them to reboot their system and ask us for our login to My Disney Experience until they make that a much more streamlined process. I don't see how they can get rid of those machines. And until they get rid of those machines, I don't see how they can get rid of these problems that this person's talking about.
Well, I ever since they offered them, I've had the Premier Pass, both coasts, Disney World and Disneyland. I had a downgrade to a premium pass at Walt Disney World because I couldn't use the premium pass with my Magic Plus.
Yeah.
It wouldn't accept it. To the point where I'm on the phone with somebody, and they had to talk to like 3 different people before they said, "Oh yeah, we're not doing it with those yet because it's got California attached." And I'm like, "Are you serious? Really?" I had to downgrade my pass. There are so many things they're going to have to work through with this. Now, stuff like that I can look at and say, okay, they're just implementing it, or they'll eventually get to where they can fix that. But then when I hear stories about some of the things that are going on with FastPass Plus and how angry people are coming back after having had the experience, I'm starting to think now Disney may have a problem on their hands. How they handle this moving forward, especially I think the next 6 to 9 months are going to be critical for whether or not this is actually a success or not. If they don't start really aggressively addressing some of these issues, with the amount of money they put into it, I have no doubt they will. They seem to have been real open. They're listening. I know they're watching the boards. We can see. The way I know that Disney watches the boards is I can go into our analytics, and I can see where traffic is coming from, especially when it's clumped into one location. And so, like every week with the show, I can see Burbank and Orlando. An awful lot of people listening. And I know we have audiences in those places, but I'm hoping, and I know the same is true with the boards, so I know they're reading this stuff. This is the honest feedback. A lot of people get upset and never write the feedback form, but they'll go to the boards and they'll post it, and that's why I think Disney reads it so much. But I'm really starting to get concerned about what's going to happen with the whole My Magic Plus experience. With some of the things we're starting to read. But, all right, number 8 this month, or last month, anyone in December getting FastPass Plus and Magic Bands. These have become very popular threads the last few months, people wanting to know, if you're going in December, have you gotten the invitation? Because...
Like which resorts are doing it.
Right.
They're still rolling it out in phases.
Number 7, Magic Bands cause huge lines at FastPass return points, saying that the FastPass return lines are getting ridiculous because of how long it's taking them to when they're using their magic band.
As a person that used to work at a FastPass attraction, I was able to train myself to look at somebody holding up 5 FastPasses and determining that time and go, okay, come on, show your FastPass. Now it's, tap your hand.
Well, they were saying
you're good. Tap
they
your
were
hand.
saying in this thread. I'll read the thread. I'm seeing this more and more. But yesterday at Splash Mountain, midday was unbelievable. This is Disney Lover 99, and this is on Theme Parks board. The FastPass entrance line to get on Splash Mountain was winding its way towards Adventureland.
No.
People were getting confused. Many left the FastPass entrance line to go to the standby line, which was a 65-minute wait. It takes way too long to scan the magic bands at these entrances. Can you imagine what these lines will look like when everyone has a magic band?
And
at the second magic band checkpoint, just before you get on the ride, cast members didn't want to hold up the lines anymore, so they were just asking people to show that they had a magic band.
You had that experience, didn't you?
And just letting them on. Like I said, these are some of the things we're seeing and hearing, and they've got challenges on their hands.
I was going to say, that when we were talking about this, that one of the benefits of having a magic band is that your name is attached to the band so that they can say, hello, Kathy, whatever. Well, I got it. I was at Spaceship Earth, and I was trying to line my Mickey head up with the sensor, and it wasn't working right. And the cast member went, come on, Kathy, get it on there. Do it right. And I'm like, oh, I just feel so warm and fuzzy that he called me by name and I wasn't going fast enough.
All right, number 6, the venerable stateroom Mickey ears and then some. Kathy and Teresa did a whole segment based on this thread. If you're going on the cruise and you want to decorate your stateroom doors, this is the thread to go to. And a lot of very creative people have contributed some great designs that are available for you to print out. I'll remind everybody, if you're going to put stuff in your stateroom doors, please make sure it's magnetic, not adhesive. They're starting to fine people now if you're using adhesives on the door, because when you take it off, it strips the paint.
Right.
And they're having to go and repaint these doors to the point, some of these doors on the older ships have been repainted so many times, you can't stick anything magnetic to it because it's about 14 layers of paint before you ever touch metal.
And they also don't allow a lot of us on the Diz over-the-door shoe holders that you put your stuff in each one of the things, and they had like a wreath hanger. You can't put that on the door anymore.
Because that's scratching it up. So, number 5 stuck out to me. One, because it's a top 10 thread that's on the transportation board, which we don't ever see. But the thread was, anyone heard of Firefly Car Rental? Apparently, this is a car rental agency in Orlando that has extremely good rates. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's part of Hertz.
Exactly.
This is Hertz budget arm. And people have been saying some really good things about it. I'm not familiar with it. Has anybody ever used Firefly Car Rental? Anybody ever heard?
It used to be another name, and then it went to Firefly.
I think it was Advantage?
No, it was even something else, but it was in part of the parking garage of Hertz.
Yeah, it's on site.
Yeah,
it's on site at Orlando. So next time you're looking for a rental car, at least check this thread out. But keep in mind Firefly. Never heard of them.
Love Firefly.
The number 4 thread is a holdover from last month. Touring Cinderella's Dream Suite was amazing, plus 14 other magical days on the Trip Reports forum. Number 3, another interesting thread coming to us from Theme Parks Attractions and Strategies, Ready to Throw in the Towel by P. Barringer. We're supposed to leave in 45 days for a 9-day vacation at Walt Disney World. The more I read on these forums, the more I'm wondering if I really want to deal with all the hassle. We are staying off-site, so FastPass Plus is not an option. And now I see that many of the Fast Passes are gone by 9:30 in the morning. Yeah. Top that off with attraction breakdowns, and now even the big dinosaur is missing a dinosaur. Trying to chase down great ADRs and still not able to get reservations for Be Our Guest for the second year is just not any fun. Maybe we should just do Universal and SeaWorld with Dolphin Cove. I just don't know what to think about it all. We own at Wyndham, which is a timeshare, so we would not lose money if we skipped it at all this year. Sorry for the rant. I just need to get it out. This sentiment, I'm hearing this a lot.
But that's sad. You know, when I think, you know, I feel like I'm new to Disney. It's only been since 1995. If I had been scared off by what I had read, just think of all I would have missed at Disney.
It's a good point.
And, I mean, yes, you know, some of these things are a hassle and not everybody goes through that. But really, you still could go to the parks and not do a lot of planning. It's not, you know, just being at Disney to me is special. And, you know, I know people agonize over ADRs and rides and stuff, but it's what you make of it. You still can go and have a good time.
Now, you raise a good point. Look, you know, I own Disboards.com, so obviously I'm partial to it. And I don't want to sound like I'm not grateful for the people who make it what it is, the people who visit it and post. Make Disboards.com what it is. My job is to sign the check and pay for the servers. But when you're reading this stuff on the boards, take everything with a grain of salt. Take everything with a grain of salt. And depending on who the poster is, take it with several grains of salt. It's the internet, number one. There's anonymity. So people feel free to let out other frustrations that may not be related to this issue, but kind of come through it. It's the internet. People are planning their trips to within an inch of their life on these boards. And so it just becomes very, very big and very frightening when you hear these stories and, oh my God, is this going to affect me? I remember the first time I ever realized the power of that very, very early on. I don't think the site was a year old yet. And I had posted something sarcastic and snarky, I know, about one of the all-star resorts. And I got an email from this woman genuinely upset that I've saved for 3 years. And that's where we're staying. And I can't afford to stay anywhere else. Aww. And she was hysterical, thinking that her vacation was going to be ruined. Ever since then, I've tried to keep that in mind with the things I say, especially if I'm talking about a particular resort or a particular part of the experience at Disney World. You know, we certainly want to let people know what we think, but we try, not always succeed, to not get too histrionic about it. That level of restraint does not exist on Disboards for a lot of people. It just kind of, you know, and it's kind of that Lord of the Flies mentality. Everybody kind of piles on with these issues. So, you know, it makes me sad to hear that someone's thinking maybe I shouldn't even visit Disney World. Yeah. I don't know. I've been to the theme parks a lot without Magic Bands and FastPass Plus recently. And I had a great time.
Yeah, there's still plenty of things to do and see, and maybe you take in a show that you've never done before. You can have a great time at Disney without doing all this stuff.
Exactly.
And I just want to ease everyone's worries that the big dinosaur is now back.
It is back.
Dinosaur, yeah. They took him out for repairs or something, and they put like a fake one in.
The thing they put in there was
it was
ridiculous.
Really bad. But he's back. Don't worry.
He's back. The Carnotaurus.
All right, our number 2 thread for last month, Disability Access Service Cards on our Disabilities Forum by Sue and MN. That was also, I believe, technically the number 2 thread for last month because everybody's jockeying for number 2.
Right.
When it comes to the number 1 position, of course, again, From Style on the Trip Reports board by Jess. It just blows my mind. Disboards is 16 years old this year. In 16 years, no thread has ever been as big as that thread is. And we're not talking about a small board here. We're talking about Disboards. We're talking about 1.8 million unique visitors every month coming through that site. And this, for a year almost, has been the number one thread. And which I think is great. But, you know, I'm dying to see something beat it. I love Jess.
Oh.
No, not like, you know, beat Jess. But
Really?
You know, I'm surprised that that disability thread didn't beat it, because that's been a hot topic.
I'm going to tell you the difference between the From Style thread and whatever is in number 2. I mean, it's just not even a contest. I think 1 month, one thread got close. But
It's just like on a whole different level.
I'm talking about, like a third. The number 2 thread gets a third of the traffic
Jeez.
that From Style gets.
She got a lot of friends, or what?
It's become, we've talked about it. I mean, I advertise it basically every month I do this because it's the number 1 thread. So more and more people go to check it out, and every month it's bigger. Every month it's bigger. So, plus it's really well written, and she has a great personality, and she extends that personality beautifully in what she writes on the boards, and that's why. So, but I'm anxious to see. I'm anxious to get to a point where From Style isn't always number 1. That's why we started giving the number 2 slot. Jess has it. Jess has it. She's got it for the year. She definitely the biggest thread of the year. But so we started awarding it to the number 2 thread as well. So, but those are our top 10 threads for Disboards.com. And now that you've sat here and listened to us talk all this time, let's find out who wins a trip.
Oh, and as that's coming up, can I just make, I know we've all seen on our Facebook page there that different people were commenting that they wanted to come meet us. If you're here and you saw us talking to somebody else and you didn't get a chance to say hi, please come up. Because I always feel so bad when we go home and somebody goes, oh, I was going to come up and I saw you talking. So please come up and talk to us. Please.
Yeah, and I also...
Kathy needs friends.
Yes.
I didn't want to embarrass them too early in the show, but I just want to give a shout out to my parents that are here. They're very excited.
Yay.
And
Somebody else's parents.
Craig.
Yes.
Do you have anything to
Come
add,
on,
Craig?
Sean. Or Craig.
Craig, anything to add?
Show some excitement. Your mom and dad are right behind you.
Focusing on this.
I think it's Mike's off.
Craig's parents are right over here.
Yay.
Glad to have you both, or all 4 of you, I should say. All right, come on, Denise. Denise.
Yay.
Wow.
That's a lot of tickets.
We sold a lot of tickets.
And it's in a cat bucket.
Of course.
As it should be.
It's all about paws.
Making sure we
It's all about the
mix them up
cats.
real good. I know you guys are anxious.
Everybody got their tickets out?
Yeah, this reminds me of a story.
Sicily, 1935.
We'll always have
Picture
Paris.
it. All right.
Okay.
6.
Make everybody stand up again. Then the last.
Yeah, everybody stand
I
up.
like
Stand
that.
up,
I like
stand
that.
up, stand up, stand
Stand
up.
up if you got a ticket.
Rise.
Stand if you're able.
And even if you're not. All right, the first number is 6.
Think everybody.
7.
And sit down if
6.
you don't. I'm sorry.
Silence now.
Okay.
6, 7, 6. 6. 0.
Oh, man.
This is so sad. This is sad.
0.
Oh.
Oh.
4.
It's her birthday.
Is it your birthday? That's your birthday. You are going to get a 7-day, 6-night stay at a moderate Walt Disney World resort for 4 people, including dining, courtesy of Dreams Unlimited Travel. Congratulations.
Very good.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, will do it for this show. Thank you guys so much for coming out, and as always, for your support today and for all the years past. We really appreciate it. That will do it. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with you again next time with another edition of the Diz Unplugged. Thanks for being with us, everybody, and remember, stay out of the damn lakes. Bye, everybody.